one of the things that I talk about in my book that I think is really damaging is the fact that we've, the modern diet has become saturated with grain and seed oils like canola oil, corn oil, soybean oil, grapeseed oil, things like that. And I grew up consuming these oils. My mom actually, the irony is that my mom grew up kind of afraid of heart disease because her father had passed from heart disease. And so the messaging that my mom grew up with in the mainstream media was that to avoid heart disease, you want to avoid saturated fat, you want to avoid dietary cholesterol. And the oils that you find in the supermarket that are free of dietary cholesterol and low in saturated fat, and also, conveniently all have that red Heart Healthy logo on it, tend to be these grain and seed oils that are, $1 billion a year business. And those are the oils that I grew up consuming and that we had in my house growing up. And so when I learned about how damaging those oils are to the brain, I got rid of those in my mom's house.
What did you replace them with?
So I'm a huge fan of extra virgin olive oil and avocado oil. Humans have been pressing olives to make extra virgin olive oil for thousands of years. And these newer oils that I talked about, like, canola, corn oil, we haven't had the chemistry labs to make those oils, prior to, just under 100 years ago. So I replaced them with olive oil, which is actually a fresh fruit juice, because olives are fruit. And they actually, when you look at epidemiologic studies, you see that people who use extra virgin olive oil, they tend to have dramatically reduced rates of Alzheimer's disease and other conditions like cancer, heart disease, and things like that. It's a staple oil in the Mediterranean region of the world. It's full of plant compounds, some of which have been shown to be as anti-inflammatory as low-dose ibuprofen, which is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. So that was the oil that I stocked my mom's kitchen up with, and that's pretty much the oil that I use exclusively today, like in my kitchen, in my cooking.
Is there a brand? We have to know, is there a favorite brand?
There's not, it's a common question that I get asked, and I like to try new olive oils. Like I like to try different brands. I think that's one of the fun aspects of like being, having become a bit of an olive oil connoisseur. If all I did was buy the same brand of olive oil day in, day out, it would get boring.
Got it. I agree. Yeah. I like to mix it up too. You say that a lot of people that are incredibly stressed out are skinny fat.
Yeah.
Can you speak on that? I feel like I'm always stressed out. I need to get it under control. He's always stressed out. How can we get our stress under control? And why does that, as you say, make us skinny fat?
Well, stress is an indiscriminate killer for many reasons. I mean, it does cause us to seek out, to engage in comforting behaviors. And I think for many people, especially today, it's to, go to the kitchen and eat comfort foods, which, more often than not tend to be these hyper-palatable, ultra-processed junk foods that are manufactured with the explicit intent of making us repeat customers, right? And going through the whole bag. And I think that's one of the problems with, underlying the obesity crisis today, that so many of us, about 2/3 of us, are either overweight or obese. It's the fact that these foods, we're told to just eat less, move more, all things in moderation, but these foods are not designed to be consumed in moderation. So that's one of the, I think, ideas that I like to share with people that I think is most empowering. For me, it's all about informed consent. And when you're cracking open a bag of cheese puffs or a pint of ice cream, what most people don't realize is that those foods are not designed to be consumed in moderation, right? So it's like that slogan, once you pop, you can't stop. That's a truism with scientific backing. And we now know that, those kinds of foods, they light up your brain's reward pathways, and they just become super easy to overdo. By the time, actually, this is what's funny, by the time you feel satiated from them, you've already eaten too much. And that's one of the problems with these like ultra processed packaged foods. Too often when we can't stop ourselves, when we can't pump the brakes, we feel like it's a moral failure. It's not actually a moral failure. It's that these foods are literally designed to make us overconsume them.
I cannot stop eating Flaming Hot Cheetos if I have one.
I mean,
I can't stop.
They're
so I
delicious.
just don't even do it. You just can't stop eating them.
Yeah.
So that makes total sense.